Hey there, this is Kit again, and this time we're looking at an IB standard level question. Okay, this is standard level math 2013. Alright, it's the May time zone 2 version, so it's basically for Asian and Australia. Not Australia, Australia time zone 0. And we're looking at the paper 1 question. This is section B, actually, this is number 9. Okay, this is a question on function in quadratic. Okay, mixed with a little bit of other stuff, like the first part, they want us to differentiate this function, alright, f prime x. So just differentiate this, right? Differentiate psi, you get cosine, okay, plus what? Half x squared, so you ignore the half there. You differentiate x squared, you drop the 2 down. 2 times half is 1, so you just got x. 1 times x is x, minus 2x, differentiate 2x, you just got the number there, minus 2. That's it, that's the answer. Second, let g be a quadratic function such that g0 is 5. That means when x is 0, y is 5. The line x equal to 2, remember that x equal to 2 is actually a vertical line. It's the axis of symmetry of the graph of g. G is a quadratic, right? So whenever you have a quadratic graph, you can talk about its axis of symmetry. Now this question, if you just look at it, is kind of weird. Just from this, they want you to find G4. So there is no calculation needed, apparently. And you just somehow need to find G4. This greatly depends on how good is your quadratic, how good is your concept, how much you know about the graph. Of course, if you know about the graph, you will know that quadratic graph, of course, is a parabola shape. Alright, so it's either this, alright, or this, depending on a. If you look at ax squared plus bx plus c, if a is positive, right, you will have something like this. If it's negative, you have something like this. Anyway, the thing is symmetric. Alright, along the middle line, vertical line there. And for this question, it's given to be, if we look at here, okay, x equal to 2. So if you think about it, this is x equal to 2, that means, okay, if you look at the axis, if you draw it an axis, this is like 1, this is 2, right, 3, 4, etc. What you know is, when x is 0, the graph actually would have y equal to 5. That means if you consider the graph going higher, higher. When this is 0, this value should be 5. Okay? This is for 0. And what the question wants would be G4. G4, where is 4, right? This is 4. Apparently, this is 4. Okay. So what is this value? If we can draw this may be clear right now, because this is an interval of 2, while from 2 to 4, the interval is also 2. And as I said, the quadratic graph is symmetric of this line, the axis of symmetry. What does that mean? That means if this is 5, this must also be 5. They're symmetric, 2, 2. That said, G4 is actually simply 5. Just write 5 there. Now this is enough to score you 3 marks. If you look at the marking schemes, this kind of explanation is alright. If you put it there, they would actually give marks as method points, but they're in brackets, which means it's optional. So if you just write down 5, you get all 3 marks. Okay, so that's what I would do. Let's continue. The question says the function g can also be expressed in the form of a bracket x minus x squared plus 3. And if you know quadratic good enough, this kind of form is called a vertex form, which you get it from doing completing the square, right? And what are the meaning of h and k? H, k actually give you the coordinates of a vertex, hence the name vertex form. And h is naturally the x coordinate, and k is the y coordinate. So that said, it's like if we have a quadratic, so this point would be hk. Okay, and of course this line is the axis of symmetry. While for g, axis of symmetry is given to be x equal to 2. The guarantee that h is 2. So that's what C1 asks. C1 asks for the value of h is 2. Next, you're looking for the value of a. Now, h and k give you the value of the vertex. So if you know the vertex, you can actually h and k. But what about a? If you remember doing question like this, mix up cap. Then question like this, we find a by plugging numbers in. Now we have from the question know the value of h and k already. So it's like y is g of x. In this case, say x minus h is 2 squared plus 3. Okay, what we can tell is we have points like this. We know from the beginning, like when x is 0, y is 5. We can plug that in. So like when x is 0, y is 5, x is 0. Okay, this is paper 1, so no calculator. Let's do this ourselves. 0 minus 2, negative 2 squared, right, positive 4. So it's like 5 equals to 4 times a plus 3. You subtract 3 on both sides. 5 minus 3 is 2. So 2 equal to 4a. Now to get a, you divide 4 over. Divide 4 over is 2 over 4. 2 over 4 can simplify that as a half. A is half. That's the answer. That's the answer. That's it. So let's move on to part D. Now apparently it should be the hardest because it's 6 marks for some reason. Find a value of x for which the tangent to the graph of f, the tangent to the graph of f is parallel to the tangent to the graph of g. So you may think this is a kind of hard. Okay, what is it mixing with? Yeah, you're looking for the tangent, right? So tangent is a straight line that just touch the graph at one point, for example, something like this, touch at one point. What you want is you want the tangent to be parallel. So why would two straight lines be parallel? Simply because they have the same gradient. They have the same gradient, they are parallel. So that said, if you want to find the gradient of tangent, obviously you would do differentiation. So first of all, we need to know the derivative of f, which is found in part A here. It's cosine plus x minus 2. Let's write that down. So f prime x means the derivative of f equal to cosine x plus x minus 2. It's parallel to the tangent of graph g, so obviously we also need the gradient of g. So what is g, right? So g is here. What a is found is half x minus h is 2 squared plus 3. Okay, so we aim to differentiate this, right? So differentiate. It depends on how good is your differentiation. One way you can do chain rule. Alright, this is a half, just leave it there. You differentiate this as a chain rule. To do chain rule, you do the outside power first, the power 2. You differentiate a power 2, you drop the 2 down, and then you have a power 1 of that thing, which is x minus 2. And then you move inside to differentiate this. You differentiate x minus 2, you get 1. Right? You get 1. Differentiate x, you get 1. Differentiate minus 2, you get 0. That's it. Plus 3, differentiate 3, you get 0. So that's it. Which equal to half times 2 is just cancel out each other. X minus 2. And you want, so these are the gradients of the tangent. And you want the tangent to be parallel. That means you want the gradient to be the same. So that is, you are looking for f prime x to be the same as g prime x, which give you cosine x plus x minus 2, okay, equal to x minus 2. And obviously x minus 2 cancel out, right? So cosine x equal to 0. Again, this is paper 1. You have to find a way to get this, get the value of x yourself, right? Now my go-to way would be considering the cosine graph. Okay, if you remember, cosine graph start at 1, start dropping, go back down. So this is 1, right? This is also 1. This would be negative 1, all right? And where do you hit the lowest point? Okay, is when x equal to 180 degrees. But note that at the beginning, stuff are given in pi. What does that mean? That means the stuff is in gradient. Okay, so 180 degree would be pi radian, I mean. So this is half of it, so pi over 2, which corresponds to 90 degree, you know. This is 3 pi over 2. For this is 2 pi. Right, so the question is, when is cosine x 0? So when it gets 0, apparently it would have to be here, right, here, and here. Okay. Therefore, x is pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2. Okay. Yeah. But note that for the domain of f is only from 0 to pi, so 3 pi over 2 is outside the range, so the answer is pi over 2. So that's it. That's the breakdown from Kit, you know, for this whole question. Alright. So the beginning setup is fine. You just differentiate this. Should be okay for everyone. You know, for this you have to have knowledge of the graph quadratic, knowing the meaning of axis symmetry. That's kind of tricky, I would say. If you know if you know the meaning of H, you know, the vertex form, it shouldn't be hard. It's just, you know, remembering stuff, you know, facts. Finding A shouldn't be hard as well. You plug in the points. Even if you lose the mark for part B, note that you can still do part C. So don't give up on this, you know. And then for part D, it's probably the longest part, you know, tangent. Considering the gradient of tangent is found by differentiation. Okay, you look at the derivative. You want them to be parallel. That means the gradient wants to be the same. So you equate the gradient function, which is the first derivative, solve for it. Whether you can do this or not depends on your knowledge of trigonometry, which is another topic that is really popular. You got it. Okay, so this is it. See you next time.